Hi everyone, this is Joy with Create It with Joy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited about today's projects. I get to use Ranger's Stickles Glitter Gel, and when I received this stuff in a box, I could not wait to use it. I had so many other things I had to get done first, and I knew that I wanted to make a ton of cards with these, and I knew this was going to be a bigger project, so I'm so glad I finally got it done because this glitter gel is freaking fantastic, you guys. So let's get started. I've got 5 cards. So my first card that I am using, there's 6 glitter gels. I'm going to be using 5. I'm using Moon Dust, Dark Matter, Solar Flare, Asteroid. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4? That's only 4. I have 5. There's another one on here. Anyways, I'm using all 5 of these because I could not keep my excitement to myself. So my first card that I'm starting off with, I am using the Stamp Market's Nested Circles, and I'm using some masking paper. So and the masking paper is cut to the same size as an A2 size card base. I'm going to cut this out a little bit off to the side, and then I'm going to be doing some inking, some distress inking for this image. So I'm going to tape this, this circle die. So any circle die will work, any size that you want. I'm going to tape that down and run that through my die cut machine. Now that that's done, I'm actually not going to be using the circle. I'm going to be using this whole piece to fit around my card. I'm masking off the whole rest of the card. And I guess if you had like one of those stencils, you could use that. That kind of just has the, circle or the square or rectangle, whatever it is you want to do. So I'm going to adhere this down to my card and just have that circle part open for some really beautiful distress inking. And then we're going to add some really yummy glitter gels to the top of this. So I'm going to be using Picked Raspberry and Squeezed Lemonade, I believe, are the 2 colors that I'm using for this. No, maybe there's a third color. Nope, there's orange. And Spiced Marmalade. And basically, I'm making a sunset was my feel for this card. I've got a bunch of stencils that I'm using to show off these really beautiful glitter gels. Something that's interesting is that they're quite see-through. Basically, if you could put it on pretty thick and then you really wouldn't be able to see through it, but if you put it on thin, you could see through it. So I was really excited about being able to ink and do some things like that behind it that you could see through, or if I was really heavy-handed with the glitter gel that you wouldn't be able to see through. So I'm just blending these colors nicely, beautifully together. I am taking this, stencil. I am using Wendy Vecchi's Make Art Station to use to hold down the magnet. This is Moon Dust glitter gel that I'm using here. And this one is definitely very see-through, and I'm just using these clouds to go across. And I'm trying to, this is Newton's Nook Cloudy Sky Stencil. Look at how pretty that is already. It is so glittery. If you guys have ever used their Stickles product, that product is super, super glittery. So the fact that they've got this glitter gel that you can use is just fantastic. And I was getting so excited as I was putting this down because it just shows how pretty those ink colors are behind it. And then this is so glittery and so beautiful. So I'm making sure I get a nice, good coverage. And then in between each time that I stenciled, I just went to my sink and just washed this off with soap and water, and along with my palette knife. I just wiped off most of the stuff and then just washed the rest of it off, and it washes off really super, super easy. Isn't that gorgeous? So now to peel off the masking paper, because this is where the magic is, and it looks stunning. Oh my gosh, I just love these glitter gels, you guys. And I'm going to put all of these aside to dry. We're just going to do all the backgrounds first, and then we will add to it. Isn't that beautiful? Ooh, so pretty. Okay, on to my next one. I believe that this is Dark Matter, if I am correct. I kind of did not write down on my little notes here which ones I did in order, but look at how delicious this is. This somehow reminded me of the 80s. There are so many fun colors in this, and I decided to do it on a dark piece of cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. I think this is, oh gosh, what color did I use? Oh, it's a navy. This is from their Stars and Stripes paper pack. This is their navy cardstock. And this dark matter I thought was fantastic. I'm using this Letter It polka dotting stencil. And when I pull that up, look at how fabulous that looks. And you can still see that there's a dark cardstock behind it and all the different fun colors. So putting that aside to dry. I believe that this is Solar Flare. Super yummy gold. I am using Letter It's Rocky Stripes stencil on a raspberry cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. Putting this through, and it has little stars in it. This one has little stars along with all this gold glitter. And I feel like I was fairly heavy-handed with this one because I really wanted it to be kind of thick. Isn't that fun? Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. How shimmery and glittery that is. Okay, on to the next background. I took a piece of white cardstock. I am just taking some tape and I'm taping off some lines. I'm going to do some ink blending and then we will do some stenciling on it. Another way that I could have done this was done the ink blending first, then put on the taped line. Again, I'm using Wendy Vecchi's Make Art Station. To adhere this down to, it's perfect. This is the 7x7. I also have the larger size one, but this little one is really easy to use. So I'm using Mermaid Lagoon, Wilted Violet, and picked Raspberry for this card. So again, what I was saying is you could do all the inking and then add, after the inking is done, then add the taped stripes for the stenciling. You could have done it either way, and both ways are really, really cute. Getting a nice ink blend on this. And then I'm going to peel off that tape. And we've got this great striped paper. Actually, I'm not going to peel it off yet. First, I'm going to do, and I think this is Asteroid. Going to adhere down this stencil. This is Simon Says Stamp Polka Dot Party Stencil. Look at how yummy this is. Oh my gosh, it's stunning. So, so, so stunning. Very silver, and I'm putting this on very thick. If I was to put this on thinner, you would definitely see a lot more of the color of the cardstock through, but I was pretty heavy-handed because I really wanted this to be the star of the show, basically. So I'm just wiping off my palette knife. Again, I'm just going and washing my stencils in between each card. Isn't that really super pretty? And then now we're going to peel off the stripes and we'll see how this turned out. I'm loving it. Again, you could have just kept the whole thing inked and then just used the tape stripes for the stencil, and that would have been great too. Isn't that really pretty? And that has big chunks of silver glitter in it as well as little tiny pieces of silver glitter. Okay, so this is my favorite, one of my favorites looking in the jar. And I'll have to have it written down because my dog stole this out of my craft room. As you can see, I'm not using a stencil. I just taped off the edges. I'm using Lagoon cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. This has a bunch of stars in it and gold glitter, and I just covered the whole back of this piece of cardstock because I wanted the whole thing to have this fun glitter. But I'll put in the description what that one was because my dog chewed up that whole thing and I couldn't see the name of it. So I will have that in the description below, you guys. So now that these are dry, I let these dry for about an hour and a half. And then I was able to start adding sentiments to it. So this is Wishing You Happy Thoughts. I use Lawn Fawn's Happy, Happy, Happy stamp and die. And cut out the word happy 3 times out of a teal cardstock and glued those together for dimension. This is trimmed down about an 1/8 of an inch on all sides, and I'm attaching that to a white A2 size card base. And then I'm going to add some Honeybee Stamps small clear dewdrops to this. This just felt very beachy to me, so to bring in that teal color like the ocean was perfect. And I love all the white space because that circle with the glittery clouds is just absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that so pretty? I love how that one really turned out. Really super fun. Okay, on to this next one. This is the Smile die from Honeybee Stamp. I am inking it up because I want to do some gold embossing on it. So I did a lot of inking. The gold embossing, I'm going to heat that through. And the Smile die has two parts. It's got this thin part here, and then it's got the background kind of shadow effect maybe. And I cut that out of white cardstock, and I adhered that to the background piece. Isn't that really pretty? All gold and yummy. Now, what I did was I took that pink background with the gold stripes, and I die cut hearts out of that. And I used Lawn Fawn's Lacy Heart stackable die, and I cut out 3 hearts. I actually ended up only using 2. But after it was dry, I was able to do the die cutting. So that the glitter gel needs to be dried 100% before you run that through your die cut machine. So now that the Smile die is glued together, I did lose the little dot to the eye. So I am just using Ranger Ink's gray Emboss It pen, added a little dot and gold embossing powder and heated that up, and we were golden. I took another piece of this Razzleberry cardstock. It is A2 sized. I added some gold string around one side onto, it would be the left side of the card. Adhered that down. I'm going to glue this to an A2 size card base. And then I took another piece of white cardstock, trimmed down, and I will glue that directly to that pink cardstock. Making sure I get a nice good fold on that card there. So that's how that's going to look. A little bit of pink on both sides, but a little offset to the right, if that makes sense. Then we will adhere these hearts down, and I stamped a sentiment that says, "Hey friend," and that's from Simon Says Stamp, Tiny Word Stamp. So I'm going to glue this heart down, just a little bit wonky to the side. I will adhere down the word smile. I am using a liquid glue here because liquid glue is going to adhere better to all the glitter that's on the background. That or like a double-sided tape would work better than a tape runner, if that makes sense. I popped up the word "Hey friend" on foam tape. And then this other little heart, I'm going to also put some foam tape behind it for dimension as well. And then I'm going to be using Spiegelmom Scraps Gold Stardust Stars all around this card because there was gold stars in that glitter gel to begin with. So I thought a few gold stars on this white part of this cardstock would look great. So just gluing some of those around. And then this card will be finished. It's kind of fun to make a ton of backgrounds and then come back to it and add everything else, you know, your sentiments and things like that. I did have all of this planned at the beginning. Isn't that pretty and so shimmery and so shiny? I loved gold and pink, so I think that is just a fun color combination. But like I was saying, it's really a lot of fun just to make a ton of backgrounds and then come back and throw some cards together. It's really great. Okay, so on to our next card. This is Simon Says Stamp Thankful die. I'm cutting the background part of the die out of black cardstock and then the thankful sentiment part of it out of, it is Cardstock Warehouse's silver glitter cardstock. I'm doing silver because this glitter gel from Ranger has all that silver on it. I trimmed down that back card piece quite a bit smaller, probably closer to 1/2 inch on each side, top and bottom, and then matted that onto some black cardstock. And then we will glue that to an A2 size card base. So you've got this nice frame just on the top and the bottom. I'm using the word thankful, that thankful die, and then stamped a sentiment that says for you in Picked Raspberry Distress Oxide ink. Really, I just want it to be all about these background glitter gels. And so for the most part, I really am keeping the sentiments simple because I just want the background to be what this card is about. So adding some foam tape behind the sentiment for you and putting that right under the word thankful. And then this card is done. And look at how pretty and shimmery that glitter gel is. It is just absolutely fabulous. Okay, next card. This, just like I said before, totally felt like 80s cards or colors to me. So I have this big friend die. This is from Altenews, the Mega Friend die. I'm gluing that together 3 times using Razzleberry cardstock. Again, I was inspired by the colors in this glitter gel. There was pinks and blues and greens, and again, it just felt so 80s, so that is what I needed to go with here. So I'm gluing down this friend die 3 times for dimension, but you could use foam tape behind it if you wanted to. I'm using from Cardstock Warehouse, the green is from Merry-Go-Round, their paper pack. Again, I'm trimming it down slightly smaller on the top and the bottom, not the sides. Other than that blue card, the background blue piece is smaller all the way around. I'm taking this big friend die and putting it on a diagonal, again using liquid glue because that will adhere better to the glitter. And then on the green cardstock, I stamped Happy Birthday. I'm using some foam tape behind that. And then I will just use, I've got some big white sequins, and I couldn't even tell you where it's from. I've had it a long time, but I'm gluing some of those pieces around, and then that card is done. To me, it so kind of has an 80s vibe. I love it. Okay, let's move on to our, I believe this is our last card. I am inking up some paper using Picked Raspberry and Squeezed Lemonade, getting a good blend in the center so you get that nice, fun, beautiful orange together. And I'm going to be using Mama Elephant's Big Happy Birthday die. And I want to die cut it out of this color. Since my background paper is one solid color, I thought I need a big sentiment that is full of color. So I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. Going to adhere this background cardstock, trimmed slightly smaller than an A2 size card base, to a white card base. Then I will glue Happy Birthday directly to it. You could pop this up on foam tape if you wanted to. I did not. I'm gluing this down, and then I stamped out a sentiment that says, "You're so amazing," from Simon Says Stamp, Tiny Words stamp set, and popping that up on foam tape. And I'm going to take some more of those stars from Spiegel Mom's Gold Stardust and put a few of those onto the Happy Birthday itself. And I just felt like this card was really just kind of fun and playful just from the colors alone. The cardstock that I used for this was a Lagoon cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. That's that blue color. And I wanted to show you guys that you don't have to just use these through a stencil, that you can just put it across paper and it works like that too. So you've got this fun glittery gold star paper. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by. I really hope you enjoyed this project. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe, thumbs up, comment, share. I love all of that. I do have some affiliate links below. It costs you nothing to use, but it does continue to help me. So thank you so much for using it. And I hope that you feel inspired, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.